Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering Season 6 of Pokemon, which is Advanced Generation, and its movie Jirachi Wish Maker.
This season gives a fresh new start for Ash and Pikachu
Pika.
as they enter the Honen region. And as they collect gym badges for the next league battle, they come across new friends, May, mistake number 2, and Matt, as well as Brock, returning for brand new adventures.
Yes! So it was pretty weird because when we had learned that, Ash had to get a new outfit, go to a new region, he had left his original Pokemon behind so they could start fresh. So
we were so used to we were so used to Misty and Brock. Mm-hmm. And when, we still didn't make sense to us why Misty had to go home because her sisters went to travel around the world. What horrible sisters. They were still treating her like crap.
And they're still traveling around the world to this day. I'm like, how long is this cruise?
And then Brock is like, Brock has to go home. Like, Brock, you haven't been home in ages. Your dad's taking care of everything. And then, fortunately, he comes back.
Yeah. Oh, okay, at least you got half of it back.
Right.
And eventually they start getting new Pokemon like a Trico and what they call
he's a misunderstood bad Pokemon.
Right? Like, why do you really have to do that?
He's Pokemon Marco.
And he has his little twig in his mouth like he's cool, like and he's the chill Pokemon. Right. And then they have Torchic, like it's like a little fire breathing chicken. And then they got
That's cute though.
And then they have Tallow, I think it's supposed to be like a bird. And then they even have ones they have later like a Lotad, which is like a slow tad. To me, it's like, no, this thing is slow. But we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. So, we definitely want to tell how this season was as a whole. Now they had to pretty much start the next generation of Pokemon.
Right. And first off, Ash's new clothing. He finally changed clothes after 5 seasons. Got a new hat, new shirt, got some new pants, got a new jacket.
New shoes. Like, oh man, that other outfit probably has to burn because you've worn it every day for
and
5 years.
Later, I gotta go do my own thing. I gotta get some new friends. And he moved on.
Since the last episode.
To buy you other Pokemon, I don't need you. Go to Professor Oak. I gotta get some new ones. It's like, whoa, okay, Ash.
Right, you want to start fresh. And maybe they wanted to have it so that way, next generation, new viewers have to be coming in. So maybe they say, okay, maybe it's time to start fresh and have pretty much let new people start from the beginning.
It was almost like a reboot. It was almost like a reboot, but not the way a reboot's done now. It was like a reboot where they put new life into the franchise without changing the franchise itself. Mm-hmm. And he got new friends. Like you said, a ton of new Pokemon. He changed clothing. He went someplace else, for...
Right. For battles, yeah.
Right, for battles. So, it's like they just rebooted the series without changing the show.
Pretty much, yeah. And they also had the introduction of 2 rival groups called Team Magma and Team Aqua. And at the beginning of the season, it seems like they were supposed to be the bigger threat that now was going to follow them for either the rest of this generational series or just this series in general. Right. Because it looks like both of them are after something, but you don't know. One's after resurrecting some extinct Pokemon. The other one's after something else, an ancient relic, something. I think I missed it. I mean, feel free to explain what it's supposed to be because it keeps being a secret and then it's brought up and then it's put away. All Team Rocket has to do is just build a place, a headquarters for Team Rocket. They don't have anything there. That's all they gotta do. Right. But every time they try, these other a-hole teams come in and then they keep screwing up everything.
Oh my gosh, such language. But
nothing new.
They can't get a break.
Yeah, and everything. Who are you? Well, prepare for trouble. Just as they're starting out, they send their dog Pokemon to start just mauling them. They have to run off and don't ask if you don't want the explanation.
Anything that they start, they take over and just snatch it right from under them. And it's like, again, can't Team Rocket get a break? Right. One time, can't they take the boss something that is extraordinary and then go back to being themselves. But
right.
Just one time.
Something. Yeah.
And it not be a Pokemon.
Right. Oh, wouldn't the boss be so happy if we brought this back and he'll say this, that, and the other?
This is the season of Meowth going through these long, drawn-out, fantastical explanations as to why they need to get this particular thing and how happy the boss would be and what he would give to them
give him too
and
much
what
credit.
He would say. And it's like, Meowth.
Like,
where are you getting all this from?
Like
Does your boss even act like remotely he would say anything to you?
He threatens you half the time.
He would even be nice to you?
He threatens you half the time unless you finally do something.
And then poor Jessie and James, oh, that sounds fantastic. Yes, Meowth, you're right. Like, no.
Only one time did they say, Meowth, that is absolutely ridiculous. Or they said, oh, get this. And he'll wake up to this in the morning and said, Meowth, that doesn't even make sense. The one time they said that, that doesn't even make any sense. We're going to take him anyway, but not for that. And then we have to absolutely mention there was also May wanting to enter a Pokemon contest.
Before that, we have to mention the introduction of May and her brother. We haven't even talked about them being introduced. Oh. And how funny it was when she said, oh, Daddy, I want to go with Ash. He goes, okay, and take your little brother with you, because I just need a break from both of you. Take him with you and be gone.
Well, everyone else sends off their kids at the age of 10. By the time you get out.
I was like, did you really just tell her to take her little brother with her? And he just volunteered him to go. I was like, really? So, yes, there's an addition now of May and her brother Max.
Right.
And, of course, there's the reintroduction of Brock again.
Right.
And so there's a whole new era, or season, I should say, forgive me, of antics and journeys. And this season actually was a little more action-packed than some of the past we've seen, as far as different storylines that were really interesting, fascinating Pokemon they were finding and running into.
Right.
And then there were several times they had to save some of these Pokemon in the environments they were in.
Right.
And there has some really good stories to see.
Yeah. And for the characters now, every season or the characters have their own running gag or joke or something they do. For this one, May didn't want to be a Pokemon trainer or a fighter, but she didn't know what she really wanted to do with the Pokemon. She wanted to travel, but she wasn't into Pokemon. But then she found she wanted to enter Pokemon contests, which are basically fancy beauty pageants / Pokemon battles for this universe. So that's what it basically was. Max wanted to learn everything about Pokemon. He knew everything, statistics about Pokemon, how it works, but he didn't know how to take care of a Pokemon, was like to have one or to use one in battle, but he knew all the strategies. Then Brock was still, they kind of toned down him running after every girl he looked at, but he still had that. And when they also had this kind of endearing thing where he would be nice to one of these Pokemon that would be shy or nervous, and they would instantly love him and they would want to follow him. Like they had the Lotad that was pretty slow compared to the others, and he did nothing but help out the whole time and help to teach how to do the water attack. And then it didn't want to go back to his group and wanted to follow him.
So yes, that was wonderful, and it was very sweet. It was a nice dimension added. And you keep hearing me say mistake because I don't call her May. I call her mistake number 2 because I'm so used to Misty. After I finally get used to Misty, they take her away.
Yeah, another Misty.
May I call mistake number 2.
And then for I was almost called her Misty. You hear that?
Yeah.
Right. For May, for entering the Pokemon contest, she wanted to have this thing called it's some type of butterfly. It looks like it's got mosaic patterns
very
on
pretty.
its wings. I forgot the name of it. It was, and if you had to catch it first, it was as a Wurmple. It would be a worm. Then it would turn into this little cocoon thing. It would turn into the butterfly. And and she was trying to capture the Wurmple at first. And then Jessie wanted to catch a Wurmple because she wanted to she thought it was cute. That was pretty much it. And then,
it was very pretty,
yeah. And then she was like, oh, it's so cute. And then there's no way you'd beat me. And then they both actually catch the Wurmple. And Jessie was adoring hers.
Yes,
May was kind of, just pretty basic with it. The only problem is that it kept eating everything, so she didn't use it a lot.
Right.
But Jessie had it out whatever she could. She just adored it and complimented it. And she like, oh, you're going to be the best Pokemon ever. Said, mine is better than yours. Look how she's adorable eyes and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And she complimented so much that it evolved in like 2 episodes.
Yes.
I'm like, oh gosh, what the heck happened? Then it evolved into this little cocoon, and they kept trying to tell her that it's not going to turn into the butterfly one because it turned into a different cocoon.
Right. It chose to. And that's what they're trying to do. So we've been trying to explain that to you, that it chose to be what it was.
Right. She thought it was going to turn into a beautifly, right. Yeah.
But it chose not to be a beautifly. For whatever reason, it chose not to be. It chose to be a Cascoon?
It was a Cascoon, then a Dustox.
Yes, okay.
And then I was so very like, oh, she's going to be pissed when it turns into a moth thing.
No, she's not. I kept saying, no, she isn't. Jessie's not like that. No, she isn't.
And then it turned into a Dust. At first she was shocked, like, what? I thought it was a Beautifly. They explained why, it didn't turn to that. And then she said, but I love it! So I'm like, oh, gosh. And then look at those eyes that say love me. This beautiful. He's just way better than that Beautifly. It's going to win this, that. And like, oh, gosh, she's even worse now.
And Meowth and James were so afraid. They were like waiting for her to beat the crap out of them and just go off on everyone. And they were like, huh?
Yeah, even Ash and friends were like, oh, she's happy with that.
But
she loved it.
I kept saying, no, Jessie's not like that. Jessie's not going to do that. Jessie will not do that. She will love it.
Yeah.
And she did.
No matter what, she loved that Pokemon. Like, oh, my goodness.
Which shows another side of her that I always knew was there. But it showed another side of her that she loves a Pokemon, even when she was beating it. What were the ones that they had to let go?
There was
Wheezing, coughing and wheezing.
And it was the Arbok.
Right, that they told them to run away so they wouldn't be caught. And they released them. And even when they hit them and beat them and they fought, they loved their Pokemon. Mm-hmm. And they helped them escape so they wouldn't get caught, and that was like a tearjerker.
Oh yeah,
it was so sad that they let them go.
That was the saddest episode of the season, and one of the saddest of the series. And the worst part was the Ash and the others, they never knew Team Rock actually helped catch the poacher.
Not that Ash would have cared, but true.
Yeah, and I'm like, because they really were intent on freeing those Pokemon. Usually they're always trying to capture them. Right. And they said, you're not taking these. Right. Then the guy wanted their Pokemon. Like, you just said they were weak. Why do you want them now?
Exactly.
So, yeah, you were like, no. And they were so upset.
Now, going to the contest that poor Jessie got cheated on.
Yes. Both Jessie and May were going to enter the Pokemon contest. And May got in, but Jessie didn't because she missed it by 1 minute. And I'm like, what?
She was robbed.
I wanted to see her compete. I was actually excited for that because at first the Pokemon contests for me were kind of like, eh. Mm-hmm. But you see how she was with her Pokemon.
And she was so excited.
Yeah,
and she was ready.
I was actually excited. I don't care. I want to see her compete. And then it's like, oh, you're too late. You missed it by a minute. I'm like, you can't just make an exception. It's not full.
No, because I guess they wanted to show Team Rocket couldn't be this way and then get to enter. And
I guess that was the karma, I guess.
so.
I hope that she gets it next season because I really want to see her compete.
So do I. Now, I have to say, Ash, besides his clothing change and his venue change for the challenges, they also show Ash growing as a person.
Yes.
Because, again, they do all these rescues and he's helping more. And you see that he's really great at training the new Pokemon that he's obtaining. Mm-hmm. How he's really relaying to the people that don't know him that he sees them as friends. And they're not pets. And they're just something that he uses to compete with. But that he cares about them. And that they're his friends. And how important they are to him. Mm-hmm. And you see him grow as a person in this season. So I do really, really love that aspect of season 6, that you see Ash grow as a person.
Right, and I know this probably has to get into the X, Y, and Z seasons, because I know they said that's pretty much the peak of him becoming a Pokemon Master, which we gotta get to, come on! Now, getting into the movie, which takes place sometime...
Jirachi Wish Maker?
Yes, taking place sometime in Season 6. It's not clear where, it's just during the season, that's about it. And this time around, we have a Pokemon, I guess, from space, and it's supposed to be...
a third eye in his stomach.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be a legendary Pokemon that can grant wishes to anybody who befriends it. And it's supposed to come out every 1,000 years, and it chooses a person. This time it chose Max, so he pretty much got to spend time with him, and Max got to learn how to befriend a Pokemon. What was it like to have one? Because like we said, he knew the statistics and the battle strategies, everything, but he never knew what it was like to actually have a Pokemon friend.
Right.
So for here, you were kind of seeing a little development for him, and then you were seeing that this Jirachi wasn't exactly what they were hearing about from the legend. When it would do the wishes, it really just teleported things.
Right.
And that was like the basic thing it could do. And when May said, make this problem go away, it said, make it go away. And then it made her disappear to somewhere else. Problem? But other than that, here, guys say the movie was very off.
And it got dark, too.
Yeah, unusually dark. I mean, I know Pokemon does get dark, especially with that third movie, and we understand it's going to happen.
It was the torture of this Pokemon that was, you know it's animated, and you know it's not real, but it was quite disturbing that this guy just had no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, this magician.
And torturing and hearing it scream because he wanted what he wanted.
Yeah.
And it was like...
Yeah, and this guy was supposed to be a magician or master of illusion, and he wanted to resurrect some extinct Pokemon called a Groudon, and so he could join Team Magma. I'm like, they still got something in this movie.
And he didn't care about anything but Diane. That was a really weird aspect of this particular movie, that he didn't give a crap about anyone else dying or anything being destroyed, but when he was going to lose Diane, then he cared.
Yeah, and then the thing when this creature finally came out, because the whole movie was basically nothing much happened other than Max bonding with the Pokemon, and then this other Pokemon looks like some wolf with the thing on its head, and trying to attack or I guess save Jirachi because there was danger coming.
Right.
Other than that, not much else happened until like the third act when this Pokemon came back, and either it wasn't the same Pokemon or they had been corrupted because he screwed with nature, and it was taking everything, all the Pokemon and living creatures. And the scary part was, like this, it was taking everything, Pokemon, humans, anything that was living, it was taking, I guess, feeding itself. And then the most worst part of all, Team Rocket didn't get to do anything again for the whole movie except come in for their motto.
Right.
And then they were trying to get away and they got captured by the monster, and no one said a word about this. Like, did you either not see them or you do not care? And Mama said, "Are you freaking kidding me, Ash?" Like this said Brock and May and Diane. He said, "What about dang Team Rocket? They got captured too, you moron!"
Yeah. Sorry, Sylveon. Now, here's something that was really interesting that just I did not know and realize till now, that Ash and May are voiced by the same voice actor.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Veronica Taylor.
And it's like, what? Because she sounds different. So basically, when Ash is talking to May, he's talking to himself.
Yeah.
And then we also see that it says here that in this movie, Brock and James were also voiced by the same voice actor, Eric Stewart.
Wow. So the ginger, they just did it later. Or was it always like that, we never noticed?
Right. So Ash talks to himself this entire season. So when he fights May and argues with May and battles with May, he's just, another dimension of himself, his more feminine side.
Right. Now I'd be Ashley.
Oh my God.
Oh man, I forgot about that. I love that episode.
If you guys already knew that, let us know in the comments below.
Right.
Sylvia, I'm probably new.
Right, and you can explain more of the movie because there were probably some bits we didn't get, or maybe there was some stuff cut out of the English dub. Because like we said, not much else happened other than Max and the Pokemon bonding until the third act, and then this monster Pokemon comes out. So hopefully, you can bring more to the table.
Absolutely. So let us know what you think of Season 6 and the Pokemon movie Jirachi Wish Maker in the comments below.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Oscar Entertainment.
And I'm Mama Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace until Season 7.
Yeah.
And reporters sitting flashing lights. Trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Met her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in